feeling, and we did like a radio broadcast where we tried to describe what was going on, rather than cast how we normally do it. And obviously, some people were like, "Oh, there is no game. You guys are casting without a game," and then other people were like, "No, no, no. They are aware of that. This is a radio broadcast," and it was actually kind of cool. It was a unique experience.
That's awesome. I sometimes wish that we had those all the time. I used to work and just listen, because I'd be working.
You know, the very first esport experience I ever had in my life was clicking on a link that opened up a stream link in Winamp, and that was a radio broadcast by your boss right now, Kim.
Really?
Yeah. I was listening to a Winamp broadcast from WCG 2003. Grubby playing against Zakard. And she did a really good job. I could see the game unfolding by just listening to it. It's really cool. It's a unique experience.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's awesome to watch the games, and we are very spoiled in the current times that we live in because it's all so easy. But it has its charm, you know, just listening to someone's voice and trying to picture the game. And when I later got my hands on the replays, it was exactly what I thought was going on. So.
Yeah. It's really interesting seeing the differences and stuff too, you know. And you're like, oh, I thought it happened this way.
10 years in esports broadcasting is like 3 centuries ago, man. Either way, EG's Hawk is our red Protoss spawning on the top side here of Heavy Rain. Hawk looked good and solid in game 1. I felt maybe he could have killed the hatch, but at the end of the day, I think it was an excellent decision by him to not go for the hatch, because now he at least got some guaranteed damage done, and there's always this chance where you click on the hatchery with 6 or 7 zealots, and then they do damage, but they barely won't kill it, and then you didn't do the economic damage, you didn't force out additional units from the Zerg, because the Zerg realized they already had enough to stabilize, and now Xigua was under a lot of pressure, so he kept making drones, kept making roaches, kept making Zerglings. So I guess overall Hawk just played it very well. Game number 1 over here.
He did. His opponent spawning down in the bottom quadrant of the map, 6 o'clock position. Ladies and gentlemen, from Invictus Gaming, Xigua. That sounds funny when you hang on the UA. It's a cool sound. Wow.
Hot dropping a pylon over here. But that's just to freak Xigua out a little bit. Is Xigua gonna fall for that? Like
is it just a little?
Yeah. I like Hawk is gonna most likely cancel it.
Yeah. Good read.
I mean,
well, he does have the scout, yeah.
Xigua is like, oh, I ain't afraid, son. What you gonna do?
Xigua was scouting everywhere with an early probe or early drone.
He realized that it was perhaps a little too late. He's like, if you want to kill me that late, I can still save the hatch with Zerglings. I'll be fine.
All right, so looks like we had a pull. Or, hatch opening into a quick pull behind it. Both queens are now on the way, and we've got the Nexus on the low ground from Hawk. He actually opted for the warp gate opening off of just 1 gas.
I'm a little bit surprised that he's opening up with a Stalker over here. That's not something you see very often. That almost gives me the feeling that I think maybe he's been practicing this before. He could snipe this Overlord if he runs to the right side. He's not going to do that. That's unfortunate for Hawk. That would have been a very juicy pickoff. There are some builds where if you time it out correctly as a Protoss player, because 99 out of 100 Zergs send their Overlords in the same way, and they don't expect Stalkers in certain phases of the game. So if you suddenly have a Stalker, you can actually pick up a free Overlord kill early on. Is it really worth it economically? I'm not sure. I do it all the time because I'm special.
Huck did manage to get a couple of Zerglings though. So he's feeling a little special right now. Not 100 mineral special, but a 50 mineral special.
Yeah, but killing Overlord is so much better than killing Zerglings though, because you supply block the player for a little bit. At least the Stalker gets a good scout done. He's going to see this hatchery. And I also really wonder how is Hawk going to go at this right now. There's also a Zergling in his base, as Whiteraw would say. 14 more links on the way as Xigua scouted.
As Whiteraw would say?
Yeah, there was this very funny moment a very long time ago at the Home Story Cup. Or, no, actually, not even Home Story Cup. I was just watching the Whiteraw stream in the days where Whiteraw used to still stream a lot. It was me and the Muslim watching his stream together. And it was on this terrible map, which I forgot the name about. It was like this map that has been the shortest life of all maps ever, where you needed a ridiculous amount of buildings to wall off. And we were watching Whiteraw stream, and for some reason, some Zergling squeezed through, and this is really happy Zergling that's just running around in Whiteraw's base, hitting every building like tap, tap, tap. And then Whiteraw's serious face looked at the screen, he's like, there is a Zergling in my base. I do not understand, because he thought he had a wall. And I didn't understand how that Zergling came in the base either, so ever since then, whenever there's one Zergling in the base, it's a Whiteraw's Zergling.
An expression of confusion.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's like seeing Whiteraw's very focused fish. There is a Zergling in my base. I do not understand.
Awesome.
Because I thought he had a Wolof as well, and the Muslim thought so too.
That would have been even funnier to hear over radio broadcast.
Yeah, probably.
All right, guys. So looking at the game, you know, a lot of Zerglings on the map for Xigua, which actually is something I would expect. He does love opening with early Zerglings. No speed on the way.
Burrow being researched already. I'm not sure how I feel about this build though. Like, it's all these slow Zerglings. For what?
I've seen Xigua use this really well versus Stargate play in the past. But, well, here Huck's like going for a fast third. I guess if he can deny this third.
But Huck is doing it off
really
3
nice,
gates, and I like, by the way, that Huck is playing this like without any fear. If you scout 3 bases that early and you open up with 3 gateways, you should be able to keep your turret nexus alive. So I like how Huck is doing this, and this is also something like, take notes, you know, like sometimes you wonder how do pros players get away with it, but if you look at the overall picture of this game, Huck has absolutely nothing to worry about right now. Yes, he's down a few workers, but he is not going to lose this base. I do feel that he needs a follow-up, because when you play like this as a pros player, you give a lot of freedom to the Zerg. You give him a lot of freedom to drone up. That's exactly what Xigua is doing. But Huck has sentries, he has that mothership core, so he will be able to put some pressure out on the other side of the map. If he wants to, and I think he will. Like, I'd be very surprised if Huck just sits back and not does anything.
You know, he's got a lot of sentry energy as well as a full energy mothership core here in all of 2 seconds. So, yeah, I agree. I think he's going to move out, especially after seeing, like, slowlings from Xigua. He hasn't seen them for a bit, so, and they're about to have speed. But I completely agree. I think moving out not only is the right decision, but I think it's what we're going to see Huck do.
So Xigua has a great economy right now. Is he going to drop a Hydralisk then again? No, Spire is going down. And a Hydra Den. What?
I love the location of the spot. I absolutely.
Oh, the Hydra Den is probably a big fake. That's really sick. I wonder how that's going to...
Spire's not the fake.
No, the Spire is the real.
But what? But why?
I can't believe that he rolled the Spire.
I know, right? Like, of all... you see this. I mean, it's right on the outside of Huck's main here.
If you zoom out...
Really gutsy.
You don't even need to double zoom. A single zoom will bring the Spire in range.
Of the Nexus.
Xigua needs to buy a little bit of time, and he's going to force some defensive warp ins. He also had a lot of roaches on the production tab, so that should be enough. 10 roaches against 8 sentries, 4 stalkers. Those are some good force fields by Huck.
Yeah.
But I still think this is good enough for Xigua. I think Huck's going to have to recall. Yeah.
All right. And he does. Only picks up a stalker from it, but gets a peek at the composition there. Sees lings, sees roaches. He hasn't seen the Hydra Den yet, though, has he? No.
Like, this is actually the phase in the game where Xigua wants Huck to scout that Hydra Den. But no, even when the mutas are out, mutas are always fantastic, don't get me wrong. But this is a phase in the game where I'm not sure, is it the right moment to go mutas? It's going to be 8 gates, Blink is already done, and +2. Like, if you can go mutas against 0-0 stalkers or, not too many gateways, it's always fantastic. If you go Mutalisk against a player that already has a lot of gateways, also has a strong economy, and has Blink, and has +2, I am not sure, but I'm very eager to find out. Cool game here.
Alright, well, Huck's moving forward. He does have a sizable Blink Stalker force, as we were talking about, with all these gateways. And Xigua's starting up the Mutalisk. 9 on the way.
The macro so far by Xigua has been quite beautiful. He's on 75 drones. He even has this fort base up and running. I would love to see him take these extractors, and that's exactly what he's going to do right now. When is Huck going to see the Mutalisk? Probably with these 2 Phoenixes.
Well,
the good thing is, though, like, there's a good chance that these Mutalisk are going to draw a lot of stalkers into the main base. Exactly, there we go. Huck already positioning. And let's not forget about the roaches, Kibbles. It's 19 roaches. They can do some serious work.
Yeah, with all these lings and roaches, actually, this third, and a nice big Zealot warp in, which is actually going to work wonders against the high Zergling count that we have here from Xigua. Huck, also, he's got +2 weapons, so he'll clean up these lings, no problem.
Great stalker positioning so far by Huck. Mutas fly in, but 2 mutas go down without doing any work. They're going to fly into the main base right now. Photon overcharge will be casted in the turret. A couple of stalkers will be wiped in. A few probes will fall, but it's a couple, no more than that.
You see what Xigua wanted to do here. I mean, he's got his Ling Roach force positioned to the east of this Nexus, but with that Photon Overcharge being so... I think he wanted to bait it at the natural third. Either way, he's going to go for the attack, and nope, that's not going to work.
Okay, Burrow is being used, but there is an observer on top of this army as well. I think what he's just what he was hoping for is just that Hawk would make a mistake that a lot of players would make, you know, pull away too many units out of position. But Hawk doing what a Protoss should do, only bring the units to the main base that are actually useful against these Mutalisks. Like Zealots can shoot off anyway, same goes for Immortals, and Sentries are just too slow, they will never catch up. So he used only the Stalkers to defend, and he did a phenomenal job so far. However, he is still going to have to defend for a long time. There's been excellent creep spread as well by Xigua. This is still anybody's game, but I'm very impressed with the decisions that Hawk is making so far.
I am as well, you know, and oh, nice blink forward. Snipes the Overseer. We'll see how that ends up playing in, but force fields are going to cut off all those Zerglings, so it's Mutalisk. Down bottom, we've got Roaches fighting against Zealots. This is kind of a weird fight, because the Mutalisks right now are going to clean up the anti-air.
Yes, most likely. There are very few stocks remaining. Reinforcements have arrived though, and with those reinforcements, Hawk might actually be able to stabilize. This worked out well for Hawk in the long run. I felt his first blink was a little over-eager, but with the reinforcements, he's able to push his army back. Man, this is a really fun and entertaining game. I love games where I just have no idea who's going to take it, but with 2 Stargates and a fleet beacon on the way, I think this Muta phase is gone.
Yep. That's what I was, you know, as that fight kind of developed, that was what I was noting, Kevin, is like the tech. We had Huck, he was actually dropping a Templar Archives, and now he's even going to Fleet Beacon as well. So he's got like a huge tech advantage over Xigua at this point, who's, I mean, just stuck on Tier 2 Spire.
Normally when you do this stuff, if you are Xigua, you're hoping at least for one phase where you kind of catch a break, whether it's those 10-15 probes that you pick off in either of the 3 bases, or you suddenly jump on all those exposed sentries, or you reset the Immortal count, just anything, you know, that gives you a new window of opportunity to go somewhere. But nothing really went his way. If he's going to keep building Mutalisks right now, I think he's going to have a really... oh my god, Xigua is just going to take every single base over here. He's going to make Corruptors as well, but I think Hawk has pretty good Phoenix control. Of course, when you have Phoenix against Muta Corruptors, you want to make sure that at all costs your Phoenixes are always shooting at these Mutas. Because those Corruptors, they are very beefy. The Mutalisks, however, they're made of paper.
Alright, so... I don't know, man. Xigua's not teching up. That's the thing that's really getting me right now, is he is intent on staying on this Tier 2 Spire. And with all these expansions, I could see it working out, but he's got to be able to keep these expansions alive, you know?
It's really hard though. Like, what would you like him to transition into? Like, he doesn't really have good upgrades in anything, so I guess this is why he's rolling with the Muta Corruptor.
Yeah.
Which I don't think like is a wrong decision. Like, he needs to at least make something happen with this before. Because right now, if he wants to transition into something, Hawk is gonna march across the map and most likely kill him. But if he has all these bases, Hawk has to be very careful, because you know, nothing kills bases quicker than Mutaling Corruptor.
All right, some Phoenix are getting caught right now, so a small one there for Xigua, but he's on a full retreat at this point as Hawk is just pushing forward, nearly maxed out. And just wants to make sure if a fight happens and Xigua tries to go for the remax or anything like that, that Huck's already on his side of the map, which I think is a really smart call.
Couple of Phoenixes did go down. Now the Gateway army is out of position. Does Hawk have the Mothership Core with this? No, he does not. And this is a lot of Zerglings though. They do not have fantastic upgrades. If those Lings had 2-2, I think they could easily fight this and do a pretty reasonable job. What is Xigua gonna do?
Well, I'm a little actually worried here for Huck. He doesn't have much anti-air with this. Oh, the Phoenix are actually coming down with this force, so great response here from Huck.
There. Really good force fields.
Oh yeah, he just cut off that entire ground force, and now it's Phoenix and Stalkers versus Mutalisks and Corruptors with no ground army here to help. You see the supply of Xigua just plummeting. It's all Mutas that are dying.
Yep, a lot of those Mutalisks went down already. A lot of Zerglings went down as well. I felt like we had a ridiculous amount, now just 50 remaining. Upgrades are just not that fantastic. However, a couple of these Gateway, the ground army is running kind of small for Hawk. A lot of Hydralisks are on the way, 17 Hydras. If he gets them together at the right time, they will be... Oh wow, all of these Zealots are just ravaging this mineral line as well. I think this one is over.
Huck blinking forward, and he's going to start picking this maybe last fight of the game, as yeah, the Zealots are just tearing through these drones, and that's going to then make quick work of the Hydralisks as they have no backup units, so...
E.G. Hawk with a pretty impressive first series of the game over here. I think it looked like he was shooting at his own Stalkers over there, or his own Immortals there with a few of his Stalkers. I mean, there are Hydras and Roaches still rolling out one by one, and these Broodlings are making Hawk's life actually kind of tough. So Xigua is sort of hanging in there. He's bringing in all the drones as well. And wow, actually these 3 Immortals are running very low and they're exposed. They will fall. I still felt Hawk did the damage that he needed to do, right? Xigua is only at 33 drones. He has lost a ridiculous amount of drones.
Yeah, the drone count. Looking at that drone count, I was like, well, he has a lot of bases, Kevin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He has more bases than drones. Not something you see every day. The good thing about that is that even if he lost a lot of queens, he will still have a lot of larvae to work with. So Xigua is still hanging there a little bit. Of course, Huck's main is running low. I really thought it was over. It was like 175 supply against 135. But Xigua just pulling all of his workers, and now 2 Hydras then are going down at the same time. All of these broodlings made Huck's life hell, actually.
Yeah, there was a lot of buildings there that went down. He's trying to re-drone at this point, Xigua, and his goal here, I guess, is keep pressure on Huck and just don't let Huck push. And he's going to try to pick a fight here, hiding backwards. Yeah, there's no sentries, so this is actually going as well as it could go for Xigua.
Charge will be ready in 35 seconds, but it's not ready just yet. Is Storm ready? No, there's no Storm being researched. So that was all right. Xigua is still down 50 supply, though. However, I feel that any second Huck doesn't have this fort base. Huck, like, of course, for us, it's easy to see right now, hey, Huck, if you just attack again, you'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
That is something we know. Huck can't know this. Huck doesn't want to make a mistake of overcommitting. As you can see, he has absolutely 0 map presence. The entire map, at least on the right side, is covered in creep. So what is very easy and obvious for us is not that easy for Huck. Huck had no idea if the bank of Xigua was, 7,000, 7,000, or if it was 3,000, 3,000, and he used it all.
Yeah, but with Xigua coming forward with this second wave, he's, shown now, like, and it could be a bait, but it looks like Xigua doesn't have that many units from Huck's perspective, and Huck is pushing forward, but now he sees these Hydras and Roaches chasing back these Zealots on the right-hand side, and it looks like he's going to maybe fall back again.
It's a really hard call for Huck to make. He's in a fantastic position. He can just straight up win the game. The longer he waits, of course, the more of a chance. This new Hydra attack, by the way, is awesome. It looks like it's like the metal Hydra. Like, yeah! Someone should make like a YouTube video and let these attacking Hydras listen to some metal music and just like rock out. Either way, Huck is doing a good job in at least shutting down a few of these bases, and of course he has killed his original fort base. So these Zealots are doing a fantastic job for Huck.
Hatchery goes down, and there's those broodlings again.
Those broodlings have been the story of this game.
Yeah. But he's actually going to pick off both bases, the top right, the bottom left, and that's going to put Xigua. In fact, he'll have 2 mining bases, actually. He still has that 4th over to the right. I think that was the 4th base he took. And his natural expansion. So
this one was his third.
He's actually pushing towards the left, though, going to go for this Nexus, and I agree with this call. It's his only hope, but it's not going to work out. Storms go down as well as GG.
GG is called. Huck puts himself in a really good position here, having a pretty convincing 2-0 victory.